Hello, people, and welcome to another fine episode of Who's That Anime with your hosts Steve and Colin.
That's me. That's you.
And we're still talking about school days. Yay!
But not for long. This is it.
It's it. But this
And
is
yep.
this is the
Oh.
what do you call the last three episodes? Because you got penultimate for second, and
Uh,
try
I want
ultimate.
to say trial. I want to say ultimate.
Yeah, we'll just go with that. New word.
Uh, let's find out. It's not. It's not. Uh, oh my
What's
god.
what?
Okay, I would never have guessed that.
Cool. What is it?
Oh, that's interesting.
Not answered the question yet.
So here we go.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimate,
Uh huh.
final,
Uh huh.
penultimate,
Uh huh.
second to final, antepenultimate, third to final, pre-antepenultimate, fourth to final. Uh pre-antepenultimate. I think this is joking. Fifth to final. Pre-antepenultimate. Sixth to that cannot be real.
It's probably Roman. Anyway,
Oh no shit, that may be real.
oh well,
Yep.
it's the anti-penultimate
Yes, antepenultimate.
episodes of school days for us. Boy, it gets real really quick. Uh,
Oh, it's getting so real.
so just to make you aware, and the reason I know about this anime show, I should maybe mention in like episode one of this season, is because I was reading the web comic as you do, and called Bittersweet Cannibal, and it's about high school drama. And they have like this fan section, and one of the fan drew a wee artist about some of the characters, and one of the characters basically slicing one of the other characters' neck open, and she died. And it's like, what? What's this? And then they're like, oh, this is referencing this anime. And I was like, what? Really? How? And then I started watching it. It's like, no, I don't see how this is coming about. And then
Uh
we're getting there. Well, you'll find out the exciting conclusion at the end of this
okay.
episode.
So episode 10,
Hmm.
Mind and Body,
Hmm.
starts off with Kotonoha breaking down crying because she's seeing she's seen Makoto and Sakai dance at the end of the previous episode.
Hmm.
Uh, that's the kind of warm welcome we get to this episode. Uh, as we sort of segue to the next day,
Hmm.
after her crying, the school is beginning to clear up after the festival, um, and Setsuna remains unconvinced that I think they're at the back of the school. I think this is what we kind of talked about in the previous episode a little bit.
Hmm.
Was Setsuna and Makoto are at the back of the
Hmm.
school talking about his interactions with Kotonoha, and Setsuna remains very unconvinced that he has in fact split up with her, and he's like, "No, I totally have,
Yeah,
absolutely, like she knows." Um, and then uh,
that's
Kotonoha appears. holding. Oh well, first of all, she's trying to clean up, so she's carrying like way more stuff than she should be. Her classmates trip her up because they're just dog shit human beings.
Oh yeah,
Um,
still shite. You
yeah.
should note that Setsuna is still asking Makoto because he's receiving text messages still or emails.
Yes.
And
He's
he was
like,
on
and it's
his
fine.
yeah, it's on his phone. Uh,
It's totally fine.
but she didn't get to look at it properly.
No. And then of course, Kotonoa appears around the back of the school, uh, with the kind of rubbish and
Yeah, the amount of rubbish
and
is there.
it's staggering.
Yeah, it's like a
They
whole
should have got a
mountain.
skip.
Oh, they needed like one of those big fucking industrial skips with a compressor on it.
Yep. But he's like, "Oh, yeah." She's like, "Oh, were you looking for me?" And he's like, "Yes, I was." And Setsuna's like, "No, don't be, no, stop that. You don't need to talk to her."
Yeah.
And he's like, "No, you shouldn't be carrying all that. Let me help you. Leave me alone." And he goes over to help her, and just takes all of the stuff off of her like a big strong man, walks 5 feet with it, and just throws it to the ground. It's like she could have done that, man.
Oh yeah, it's been Shibble. I
It's
don't know.
just it's not. And
No.
then, of course, uh, I think this is the bit where we sort of get into it, where Setsuna starts to be like, "No, just leave him alone. Like you guys aren't together. Like he's with Sakai now, so you need to stop this." And she like starts to Kotono is like, "Oh well, maybe, what if other people were to have, a thing for him, maybe." And he's like, "What's she talking about? What's going on here?" And she's like, gotta do something. What do I do?" And she just like full on plants a kiss right in his mouth.
Hmm. Yeah,
It's like, "See, ain't nothing, ain't nothing. I can do that whenever I want."
pretty much.
Holy shit, what is this?
And
Like,
yeah, and then it's
that
kind
was
of like
mental.
that shuts up Kohona, Kohona,
Kotonoa. Well,
Kotono.
this is the bit where she's like, what's going on?" And he says he doesn't even. This is the thing that really bothered me. He still didn't have the guts to say like, "I want to break up," or I don't want to be together anymore. He just says, "Don't you get it?" He's
Mm.
letting someone out again, like just trying to worm out of. It's so annoying.
Yeah, I thought he did say the words.
I,
Oh
I don't
no,
know. Like I feel like I feel like all he says is "Don't you get it?" and just
yeah, I
kind of
think you're
looks
right.
off to the side like a total douche.
Yeah, he kind of, and then she just basically breaks properly at that point.
Yep.
Oh,
Well, why hasn't she broken more before now? Like because I think because as you said, like in the previous episode. Oh wait,
mhm.
have we gone past the bit where she? Because Taisuke's been really happy because of course he's slept with, or I say slept with, has sexually assaulted uh Kotonoa.
Mhm.
He's thrilled because he thinks, it's like that went well. Like, oh man.
Yeah,
And he goes to see her and like offers her tickets to something
Christmas
that he,
something.
yeah, like a Christmas spectacular thing.
Mm.
And she's like, uh nothing happened with us. What are you talking about? uh I have a boyfriend.
Yeah, yesterday didn't matter. She does
Oh
acknowledge
man,
that it did
like,
happen yesterday, and
yeah, that's rough.
she's
But
blanked them.
also, there's something questionable about how that went about anyway, so I don't know. I don't want to feel too sorry for him.
Yeah,
Um,
I believe this is also the episode that the Kai is invited to the basketball team thing.
yes, this is because that kind of all happens. Uh, because I think again, like she gets the kind of life back in her eyes for a minute, like at this, like because he's interacting with her, and then again, just drains.
Oh yeah,
She's
yeah,
gone,
yeah. She's
and then I think then you're right. Then it goes to the sort of I think no wait, sorry, because Makoto has gone missing. He's disappeared. He's gone AWOL, and then does Setsuna not find him having sex with
no,
Otome?
no, no. Uh, well, maybe that's no. Yeah, maybe she
Yeah,
does. I
I
think,
think she does. I think
yeah,
she sees what's happening because then Setsuna goes to his place and is like, "Could you please keep your dick in your pants? What is going on? You're supposed to be going out with Sakai." And then, oh my god! And then in some fucking bizarro twist, she's like, "Well, because if you promise, maybe we could have sex." And it's like, what is going on?
yeah, yeah. That's so. I always thought she escapes the school before all that happened. That's why I thought she was a
No,
tenth character, but obviously,
no.
no, no.
No, she's kind of twisted and broken, much like the rest of them,
Yeah.
just in a different way.
Yeah. Should also mention that. So the basketball meeting, Sakai goes to
That's
that.
that's the next bit.
Is that the
Is
next bit?
like because like it's questionable as to whether he does sleep with Setsuna, although based on experience here of having slept with Sakai and
Or to me?
Otome with careless abandon, I'm gonna suggest he probably did it anyway, just because I hate that guy. Um, and
Probably
then
did.
it kind of like the following day, uh, it's oh fuck, it's what's her name? Nanami, who's like the member of the basketball team, invites Hikari to go to the like. I want you to come to this thing. She's like, "Oh, you sure it'll be okay?" And it's like, "Yeah, it's a party." And then they invite Sakai,
Mm-hmm.
but Sakai is like, "No, I've got work, so I'm not going to be going. Thanks." Even though
Uh,
she does end up going.
yeah. What she
No,
say?
is it? Sorry, no, it's not. It's not Sakai that says that. Who is it? Somebody says they've got work.
I think she said she might have work. Maybe sits in the.
Yeah. Yes, that's what it is. It sets, and I was like, no, I can't. I'm busy. That's because she's not coming back.
Pretty much, yeah. And she hasn't told
Yeah.
Sakai yet.
Yeah, I
Our
think.
best friend.
Sorry, no, it's Nanami's talking to Sakai. That's who it is, and she's like, "Oh, I have work tonight. That's what it is. But I can go to the party thing.
Mhm.
That's what it is." Um, and then of course they go to this sort of party, and all of a sudden there's like a projector set up, and this is where it clicked in my head. It's like, holy shit, holy
Yeah.
shit, this is it.
What's with the
So we're
what's?
gonna go back to the camera.
Yeah. So you know, highly legal footage, right there.
It's a tradition.
Traditional. And it's all run by like the seniors of the basketball team.
Yep.
I
But it
think.
was one of the kind of cronies was the one that did the filming.
Hmm.
She didn't care, she didn't seem to care much.
No, she was in. She actually went and I'm sure she was in the restroom herself.
God.
And then what's her name? Was it Naomi?
Nanami,
Nanami.
uh, she is seen in there with. So we've had mention of at one point that her boyfriend is older because they did that whole thing of the girls hold out their hand to signify their desire to be with the guy,
Mm-hmm.
and she did it, and she said senpai, which presumably meant maybe a teacher. I think was the kind of, or I don't know. Like I did not
Maybe.
feel good about it.
Neither
Well,
does she.
like well, I think that was to me that was the whole thing was is that wife, because of course when she comes up on the camera with whoever that is, she is like broken properly and is very upset, and
Mm-hmm.
presumably I assume it's because that person maybe shouldn't be with them.
Possibly something like that. Yeah.
I do genuinely feel kind of sorry for her because she seemed like an okay person, maybe just
Eh,
mixed up and stuff. She never really did anything bad to anyone.
I think she's is against what's her name? Like everyone else was. I'm sure she has some
Uh,
uh thing. Oh, he's not your boyfriend. Shut up, you're lying. I'm sure she's done that to her.
oh really? Oh,
Yeah, but
that sucks.
that's mainly because she's like with Sakai and was like, you can't be saying that.
Yeah.
Sakai is the boyfriend,
I suppose
obviously.
that's also pale in comparison to everything else that anyone's done to her. But
It's
yeah, she Nanami's super unhappy, and while Sakai's like, "Hey, we should go. Let's just leave." And just as she says that, oh shit, there's your boyfriend with
yeah,
Otome and the and getting all busy there, and you're like, ah, of course, that's how this would work out. Of
mhm,
course it is.
yep,
Ah, fuck. I
yeah.
yeah,
Uh,
I
and then she's off school again.
well, she's pissed off and tries to call him, and I don't think he picks up.
Yeah.
And then she bumps into Kotonoa, I think,
Hmm.
who kind of points out that Setsuna's with him. I think.
No, I think she just mentioned Setsuna was has kissed him.
Oh,
I think
well, yeah, drama.
I and also she just looks into Kotono's eyes and sees no life in him, and is
Yeah, she's just.
she's just like, oh fuck, what have we done? Type
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
And then
I didn't feel good for her.
she's also still stating that Makoto's her boyfriend.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Man, like this is the bit where I was starting to see sort of that thing, and I think there is a little bit of this in me where I we're sort of being led down the garden path a little bit here with
Mhm.
like, oh, Kotonoa is about to lose her shit. Like this
Mhm.
is something bad is going to happen because of her. Um, and we'll get there, but I think there's more to it than that in a weird way. Because there's a lot of lead up with this sort of like you say that the life behind her eyes just going and just this sort of point blank refusal to accept the reality of the situation is that he just does not want to be with her, even though he for some fucking reason cannot just explicitly say it. Because good lord, would you please just say it?
Yeah.
Which he never does. Um, and I think that's the end of this episode. Before we move on to the next one,
Uh,
because I think the next episode we pick up and Sakai's missing from school.
no. Oh yeah, she does allude to this as soon as with him. Yeah. I'm just reading the wiki. Yeah, I think you're probably right. I think that's about it. I think that's the end of this episode.
How do you rate that one?
It's all fairly rough,
Yeah,
and it's not getting any better.
no, no, it's
Uh,
really not.
I think looking at it though, it's I think the like the screenplay in it and stuff
Hmm.
certainly helps set the horrible, horrible mood in that.
Great.
It's just it's like oh yeah, she's definitely pretty much broken. Sakai is distraught. I think
Yeah,
um,
Setsun is leaving.
Setsun is leaving, but she hasn't told anyone.
Yeah.
I thought they had a party. That's how much I remember this when I watched it 10 years ago.
Nope,
This
that
is,
did not happen.
this is not that anime that I was thinking of.
So how are
I,
you rating this one?
will go with a three. I'm going to keep it at three.
Yeah, I did not like this episode. It hurt. Um,
I
okay,
mean, it hurt as much
I
as the
I
next
can
one.
I agree. We'll get there. Um, Episode 11. Everyone's Makoto. So yeah, as we kind of mentioned there, like Sakai is missing school,
Mm-hmm.
and this is the sort of thing that Setsuna warned about, is that she's worried that when she leaves, that you know, she'll retreat into herself and sort of become isolated. And yeah, she's obviously really sad that Setsuna's gone and that, Makoto was faithful.
Yeah.
um, and then in a twist I did not see coming,
Mm-hmm.
uh, it turns out he's also sleeping with Hikari as
Mm-hmm.
well. Because she
Yeah.
was like, oh, I came round to try and convince you to go and talk to Sakai, but then we ended up having sex. It's like, what is wrong with
So,
all of you?
yeah. She. It's been weeks, I think, because she's running out of her.
Yeah,
Sakai's running out of her leave time.
yeah. It's messed
Yeah.
up.
Oh yeah. It doesn't get any better, man. It doesn't get any better. So yeah, she does say that, and then they have more sex because I think they had already had sex.
Yep, they have more
It's,
sex
he's like,
after
oh,
that.
just come
It's
back to bed.
I swear, like this is just a fucking mess. And then we immediately pair that with Sakai the next night, sort of like being like falling over and being sick, and you're like, oh no, no. And she's like, well, I must be pregnant. You're like, of course you are. Of fucking course you are. Because
Yeah,
of course, Makoto is that fucking selfish and self-indulgent that you're now pregnant.
yeah,
And
yeah.
it's just, yeah. And then she decides, now that I know that, I'd better go back to school. I've got to have a conversation with someone.
I think she maybe is just around that, but he ends up sleeping with pretty much all the girls in the school.
Yeah, he's the only one he hasn't slept with is Kotonoa. He
Mm,
slept with Otomi,
mm,
who had a thing for Taisuke, who
mm,
was just oblivious.
yeah.
He slept with Otome, who wanted a relationship with him, but he just wanted to have sex.
Who's
He,
pissed off with it instead.
he of
She
course,
she's not happy about that.
and also, uh, likely slept with Setsuna by just taking advantage of the situation, and also slept with Sakai. Now she's pregnant.
Yeah,
So
and the three cronies.
Does he sleep with them?
Threesome.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, the alternative there is thing because they see him walking down the stairs and it says,
Yeah, I
and
remember
then
that bit.
the alternative at his place.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, he's a complete utter douche from the highest
Maybe I
level.
just, for some reason, committed that to not be in my memory.
Yeah, there's probably a good reason for that. This whole anime is fucked up,
Yeah.
and not in a good way.
No. So yeah, poor Sakai goes to school. It's like, hey, Makoto, we need to talk. Uh, I think I'm pregnant, and he's like, I, I fail to see how that's my problem. That's not that sounds like a you thing. Maybe that's a you problem. Can't you do something about it? And it's like, oh my God, everything you're saying, I hate it. I hate it so much. I hate your words. I hate your voice. Fuck's
Yeah,
wrong with you?
and
And she kind of has a similar reaction.
yeah, we forgot to mention interaction at the school festival where she knees win the balls.
Oh yeah, that's right. She does. She like
And
it's like stop being a pervert and get out of here.
I think that's the one that we rated a 6.
It was, and yeah, that
That's
kneeing
probably
in the
helped it.
balls and the yeah, you're right. That helped the rating go up for sure
Mhm.
on that one. Maybe I'll give it a 10. It's because of
No,
that.
no. I mean,
Um,
what would you give number 12? Needing the balls gave that one a 10.
this I think this is the one I'm trying to remember if this is because obviously like they have a huge fight about this in front of the whole class who are now listening to the fact that Sakai is pregnant.
Mhm.
Um, and the word spreads very quickly that that's kind of what's going on.
Mhm. And
Um, and he basically starts to get shunned.
yes, no one will go out with him because he's got Sky pregnant.
Good, fuck him.
Yeah, and he's very upset about that. Distraught
I
to a point, which is like, what?
there's a bit in this where I think it's this episode. It may have been the previous one where Kotono is knitting. And she's
Mhm.
like, "Oh, I made a mistake," and like slowly starts to undo like a little bit of the stitch,
Mhm.
and then just unravels all of it. And it's like,
Yeah,
oh, she's she's so broken.
yeah,
Oh dear.
she's
She's unraveling.
full on album. There's all these little wee ticks that I never noticed the first time I watched it because I was like, what's going on in this thing? But now I watched it before and looking at a fresh pair of eyes, I can see all these kind of wee movements in it.
Yeah.
And so, wow, it's actually not as shallow as I thought it was. It can be quite deep in the
There's
shallow
some
way.
yeah, there's something to this. But of course, as every woman in this who just makes bad decisions around Makoto, Sakai is eventually like, maybe this will be fine. Maybe like it'll be okay if he's the dad of the baby.
Um,
Uh
no, I don't. Well, you can see in her eyes too that her eyes are kind of dulled.
oh,
Well,
she's gone,
yeah,
but she's just kind of okay with the idea now. And then she's like, oh, maybe I'll make him dinner.
yeah, it seems that way. They're going to make you dinner,
Oh,
and he's out and about, and
this is the
Konoha.
first sort of human moment for him. Like the idea, this is there is a point in this where it's like there's a potential for at least some very serious self-reflection of like just what a horrible monster you are as a person and how you could have done that to all those people. And you're right, yeah, he sees Kotonoa
Mhm.
who's sat at the fountain, like out and about.
Yeah, well, she's at least
Oh,
maybe
she's been losing her mind because she's been. This is the bit I was talking about. Is like we're sort of seeing more and more like the unraveling, and then she starts to have full on conversations, even though there's nobody on the other end of the phone.
Yeah, because she's blocked again, I think. He
Yeah,
blocks her.
this is is really sad. Like I at this point, I genuinely feel really bad for her. Like this is how awful to be treated like that. Um, but then she sees him and she's like, "Oh, you came?" And he's like, "Yep, sure did."
Yeah, because
Uh,
she's like, oh, I'll meet you underneath the tree type thing.
um,
In her conversations that he's not having with him.
but, but then he like they start to have the conversation, and she's like, I just want to be better for you, and I want to do this for you because that's what I want.
Mhm.
And I think this is the sort of one sort of human moment where it's really difficult to tell, and I kind of I I'm reluctant to say this is redemptive in any way, but it really upsets him. Like for once, like it's not a there's this is the first time I think there's like a non-selfless emotion
Mm.
from him.
He's not.
He is genuinely distraught at
It's actually using his
state.
brain
Yeah, like he's
rather than
genuinely is upset. His
mhm,
other brain.
his other brain,
Uh,
which they've been using since the start of the anime.
too much, you might say.
Way too much.
But, but yeah, he sees that her eyes are there's just a lifelessness there, and she's just become
Yeah.
a shell of who she was, and she's just become this person who everything about it is just I need to please you. That's what this is. It's like that's why this has been difficult for you, and it's my fault. And it's like, oh my god, poor girl.
Hmm. And
So
then
he actually properly breaks down and like starts crying.
yeah, and then she her eyes start to come back. I think.
They do. Yep,
Yeah.
that's when he hugs her. And this is the bit where it makes it slightly less redemptive for me is that well, we're back to leading her on again. Because
Well,
I mean, I know he doesn't mean it like that,
I don't think it means that.
but he we will get there because he does kind of pull this shit again. Um, but yeah,
I suppose.
like you say, like as he hugs her, she seems almost in shock and starts to hug him back. And as she does, like her eyes start to brighten again, and you're like, oh, okay, well, at least she's kind of happy again, I guess.
Oh, to a degree.
Um, yeah. Well, I think that's the end of the 11th episode
Uh,
because the next
yeah.
episode starts with them having dinner.
Yeah. I know Haruki has been talking to Sky, and she was like, "Oh no, he's out getting errands when she's cooking the dinner."
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, because yeah, it's the start of the next episode where that kind of blows up.
Yeah, that. Oh,
Oh boy. Okay. Uh
episode 11 done.
okay, so how do you rate this one?
Shit's getting real, man.
Yeah.
It's getting way real, really fast. It's like that scene in the movie Hot Rod where there's a big riot in the town, and the guy
Uh,
goes, "Wow, that escalated really quickly." Because I don't know I can't remember what started it, but it's like literally within 2 seconds of whatever they did, it was just a big riot in town, and they went, "Wow."
That is the deepest of cuts, Colin. I love that.
uh, though to be honest, it's next episode when it happens that really happens.
Yeah.
So
So
rating. Um, I want to give it a 3.
that's
There's,
fair. I think I'm probably the same.
it's just, it's just you can't be happy with that. Exactly. In the sense, it's not. Depends on what you like. If you like something that's like going, oh, look, this is kind of like a normal anime, and then like it all just goes, and just that, or you like to see people suffer, then
The
well, you
show
can't.
is all about suffering.
It is literally about suffering. Um, oh yeah, 3
episode episode 12 is
double.
called School Days.
Yeah, because it's just like school days
Yeah.
that I never had.
So this is the one. This is after obviously they've hugged Makoto and Kotono have kind of embraced at the end of the last episode, and
Mhm.
they go out to dinner.
Yeah.
And while they're out to dinner, Sakai, who has made dinner for Makoto,
Mhm.
calls and is like, "Where the fuck are you? I've made dinner." He's like, "Well, you know, I'm I'm out. I'm doing stuff. I don't have time. Just eat without me." It's like, "But I wanted us to eat together."
Okay.
He's like, "Pfft." And then I think like the conversation leads down a bit of the garden path, and he's like, "Well, you know what? You're ruining my life. Fuck you. With all this baby stuff is just ruining my whole life." And
I mean,
yeah,
I think he gets back and they had that conversation.
no, they have that conversation over the phone because when he gets back, she's gone.
Oh yeah, she's throwing everything on the ground.
Yeah, because that's the kind of big thing that happens before the School Days logo comes up is just a huge clashing and smashing, and
Yeah,
then sort of they
doesn't even have an intro in
she
this one.
she yeah, there's no big intro. It's literally just the logo,
Mhm.
and he basically blames her for ruining. It's like you're ruining my life. Get out of my apartment. So she leaves, and on her way home,
No.
she sees as we have in many a time in this show, she catches them together. She sees them on the train
The-
together.
These kids, man, they got like the best eyesight because that's one
Yeah,
fucking blur. They're on trains. Have you ever seen anyone
yeah.
clearly on the other train when it goes by? When you look out the window? Oh,
No, never.
no, it's a blur.
Well, yeah. I've never seen anybody. I've just seen or had a heart attack when a train just goes past my head like a billion miles an hour.
Mhm.
Um,
And they're faster in Japan.
yeah, that's man, what a mistake.
Mm.
So yeah, she catches them, and then decides, oh fuck, I'm going back. I'm going to go and deal with this, and kind of she confronts them, and they
Yeah.
just start kissing.
Is that what?
I
Uh,
think so. It, like right in
and
front of her, and she just like loses her mind and goes away.
yeah, that makes sense. It's just like, what the
Like
fuck?
this is fucking horrible because like all we know right now is essentially is like, well, here's the girl that he got pregnant, and the girl that he was with before that he left her for,
Hmm.
and now because she's pregnant, he's like, I don't want to deal with this, so I'm with her now, again.
Hmm. Yeah.
You should deal with that, and then fucking Kotonoa is like, hey, I have a doctor you could go to deal with your situation.
No, no, no. It's not even.
No,
It's not even that classy, man.
Oh
He
no, she's like,
he sends Sakai a text saying, "Oh, Konohara's recommended you to go to a doctor,"
that's right, it's right, yeah.
and
Here,
she's like,
here's the details.
she's like, "What?" So I think we missed out some key points in one of these episodes. Well, Konoha goes into our kitchen and it highlights some knives on the wall, nice
Oh,
chopping
that's
knives.
in the last episode of the episode before,
Yeah.
where in fact, you know what? That's the end of episode 10, where she bumps into after the Sakai finds out about Makoto and Otome. She's trying to call him, and she bumps into her on the bridge, the overpass,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
and she's got bag full of knives, presumably. We assume, because we see her pick up a knife in one of the previous episodes, or like earlier on in that episode, and then you
Yeah.
hear a lot of clanking coming out of the bag.
Yeah. It's possibly that. Um. Anyway, so basically sending her Sakai a text saying, "Yeah, you can go to this doctor and get rid of that baby," and she's
Yeah,
like, "What?" And she kind of just loses it at that point. It's like starts kind of rocking back and forth
I
because
mean,
she's in the bed, and then I think she goes back to. Do they go back to school? And she goes like, "Oh, we need to kind of talk," type thing.
yeah, I think the next day she's like, can we talk? Like we should can we talk at your place?" And what is it? Whatever, I don't know what it is. I can't remember what they're talking, and his attention gets drawn to something.
Basically, they agree to talk, and what's her name's
Yeah,
not going to be there. But
yeah,
then,
they're in his apartment.
but then she then calls him. Ko Konohana, Konohana ma
Kotanoha.
Kotonota, yeah. Then calls him or something like that, and he
Yeah,
goes,
and it starts vibrating on the desk behind.
yeah, and he needs to go and get it, and needs to go and see her because she's gone and done something like that, something like that. Or he says, "Oh yeah, yeah, Sakai is going to do the doctor thing," and then Sakai then kind of goes, "Nope, I ain't doing that." And then she's kind of picked up a knife off the desk that she had for chopping things in Makoto's apartment, and Hank comes around and says something, and then he says something, I think, and then she just basically stabs him in the gut.
Yeah, she fucking charges him.
Yeah, proper Thornberry style from Final Fantasy VII series. You know the wee green dude with the cloak and dagger. It just keeps forward towards you with a big dagger.
Well, she doesn't stop at one.
Oh no, she continuously stab him.
She goes to town.
Yeah,
Um,
well, it probably doesn't help that he kind of reaches out and
yeah,
one
like
last grasp to cement his what the fuck or
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of cheered at this bit
wow.
because fuck that guy. Like,
Yeah.
that never has karma hit so fucking hard
Oh yeah.
than that.
He definitely got what he deserved.
And the thing I think that it really annoys me about it more than anything else is like, yeah, he got his comeuppance, but when he's been stabbed, he's like, how could you do this? Why would you do this? It's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
You
Like,
literally broke two girls in your
yeah,
school.
more or more. Like broke so many different girls.
I don't know. The later ones kind of knew that nothing was happening and just used them.
But well, no, that's the thing is he used Otome.
Oh, Toby's well
She
to a
pretends
point.
to be happy
Yeah,
to get what she want. Yeah,
yeah, but she also was the one that forced herself upon him in the restaurant, I
yeah.
believe.
But also Setsuna, I think, also like to a degree is a bit broken in that as well, where it's like I'll just do whatever this needs to be. Like I'll do it. It's like this is just awful.
Mm-hmm.
He's him getting stabbed is just like, well, yep, that's the fucking logical conclusion here. Fuck him. He's dead. I'm glad.
Yeah, but it doesn't end there.
Oh no no no. She then leaves and goes home. Uh, and
Mhm.
then 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 Kotonoa appears back at his place
Yeah, because I think
and
that's
just
what the
sees
conversation
the
was.
body. Yeah,
Mm.
and she's quite rightly upset. And then
I
she
mean,
uses his phone to text Sakai
yeah,
saying, "Hey, maybe we should meet on the roof."
yeah.
Oh boy.
And this guy's like, "Well, I just fucking murdered that,
Yeah, I fucking shanked that bitch.
shanked him good."
Uh, yeah, he was done.
Yeah,
I guess not.
I was.
And then
It's quite graphic
oh
as
boy.
well.
Oh yeah, like I yeah, we'll get to that. So she obviously goes because I think to a degree there's something in her at this point that thinks that it didn't happen, or if it did happen, he's okay. Like it wasn't all
Yeah,
that bad. So I do honestly feel like there's a weird innocence to her at this point where she's just like, I did that, but I think he'll be okay. He'll be fine. Like that's why he's messaging me. We just need to talk through this through. It's going to be all right. And of course she gets there and there's just a bag sitting on the bench and Code Noah's there
yeah,
hanging about on the roof. Um, and they get into an argument about you know how could you do this? And she's like, well, I was pregnant, and I'm pregnant, and he fucking abandoned me. And she's like, you're not pregnant.
no,
You're just lying. You did
yeah.
that. You did that because you wanted him.
It was. And I think it was. I think she comes up and goes, Where's Makoto? Oh, he's right there." And she kind of points to the bag.
I was gonna say it's like they have a bit of a conversation. I think the reveal is at some point she's like, oh, but he's right here, and she just kind of gestures vaguely over to the bag, and it's like, yeah, this is just Gwyneth Paltrow's head in Seven all over again.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, like she opens the bag, and Kotnoa has cut off Makoto's head,
Always,
and
we think that because of the ending, because you don't actually see anything. She just looks in the bag and goes, "Oh!"
yeah,
And
and
then
then yeah, you see Kotnoa present a blade that's already
cleaver.
covered in blood. I think
Yeah,
it's there's a name for it. I checked this up on the wiki.
meat cleaver.
Uh, Dozuki or a back saw
Yeah, I thought
is
it was a
the.
big meat cleaver. No?
It's a specific. It looks kind of like a cleaver, so yeah,
Yeah.
it's just a specific name. And she just fucking slices Sakai's neck.
Mm, yeah, but not before Sakai also produces a knife and goes, "Ta! You got a knife." I got a knife too. I'm going to
Oh,
defend myself.
yeah,
And then
not very well
proper
though.
proper samurai and like less blood flying because, don't need it that gruesome. Yeah, so she gets the neck and also confirms if Sky is pregnant or not. I can't remember if it.
That oh my god, like she literally carves out her uterus and it's like, no, nothing in here. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
yeah, and then we uh we see a boat on the water.
So
Um
she has mentioned she has a yacht many times in the show,
yeah, that's right.
and
And she's just floating away into the sunset uh with with Makoto's head just just holding it close.
yeah, and that's the end of that anime.
Oh, she does talk to the head
Oh
and
yeah,
say it's like, I'm so glad we can finally be together. It's like, oh
yeah.
wow.
I mean, she was literally just you know completely utterly broke and ran away.
So I have a question for you.
Uh huh.
I pointed it out earlier, is that we're sort of being sold the Kotonoa is losing it thread. You know, she's literally unraveling, she's talking to herself. But that moment at the end of the last episode where, you know, he finally understands to a degree, like, what he's done to her.
Yeah.
Um, I feel like she kind of came back from a bit there and just
Mhm.
became the protective girlfriend. She became, I'm going to fix his problems so that we can be together. But I'm going to do that not crazily. I'm just going to be quite mean about it because this is what I want, and I'm not messing about. Sakai killing Makoto, I think, is what drives her over the edge. Obviously, it
Oh
does
yeah.
like drive her over the edge.
Yeah.
But I guess what I'm saying is that I feel like I don't know if she was all gone at that
Four.
point. I think I think she was deeply depressed and deeply sad and just unhinged and sad,
Mhm.
and she regained that, and that lad it's Sakai's action that then actually tips her over the edge, and
Yeah.
not that she would have gone over the edge anyway. I feel like I don't think that needed to happen.
Yeah. I mean, Sakai. You kind of saw it towards the end where Sakai was a bit more trying to take control of her life and make him do the right thing, in the sense.
And
And
I think that's the thing is Sakai wasn't crazy. She
uh,
was just like
yeah.
that. What she did was not cool, but like that is she's driven to that. That's not
Hmm.
that's not a crazy person. She's a broken person. And I feel like maybe Kotonoa is more not okay. Uh
Yeah.
and that's why the balance tipped so wow at the end.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just the treatment that she was getting at school and everything. She was basically not liked at school.
No.
What for
I,
whatever reason. There's not really explained. She's too pretty or something.
see that was what I got from it was is that there was too much attention paid to her, and because she was never returning it, uh, you know, guys were always fawning over her
Mhm.
and nothing ever came of it. So like the girls didn't like that. Presumably
Mhm.
was what I took from it.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't know if it's also because she was also the rich girl. If she's all.
that's true. Yeah, I
Mhm.
there is not a redeeming thing about Makoto.
No.
Like not a single damn thing. Like he was a fucking scumbag right to the end.
Yeah.
And even that moment, like I say, of that like brief redemption where he realizes how much he's hurt her, he still then uses her as a weapon to hurt Sakai
I
to
don't
drive
think
her away.
I don't think he's used it to hurt Sakai in that sense.
What are you talking about? There's like a
No.
scene where she's like so upset that she's pregnant and he's ignoring her, and to get her away from her, he just like starts kissing Kotonoa right in front of her.
Uh,
Like that's fucking
yeah, I suppose.
major red flags.
I
Like
mean,
he is literally weaponizing these girls against each other so that it is advantageous to him to have the one who has the least baggage.
oh
That is
yeah.
essentially what this is happening.
Mhm.
And the bit for me that is the saddest of this all is like I feel like Kotonoa is almost relatively innocent in this right until the end.
I mean, yeah, I suppose. I mean, she's pretty innocent all the way to the end until she like slices open Sakai.
Yep. And but the thing about Sakai, I think that is there's this weird thing about it where like we've talked about the idea that the whole thing starts off by her seeing a picture of Kotonoa on Makoto's phone
Yeah,
and they get talking about the myth around them not being able to see that photo for such a for a period of time means that they're going to be together or whatever that is, and
yeah.
like she Sakai knew that she liked him.
Hmm.
Like she was obviously into him already, and instead of like trying to act on something that was in her best interest, she tried this weird altruistic route where she's like, oh well, to win his heart, I'll help him out with the girl that he likes. It's like you do know that those things are counterintuitive because if he gets with her, you can't get with him. That's not going to work. But she does it anyway. Like so, there's like it's just I there's something really imbalanced about that to me and weirdly manipulative because it's almost like she felt that in order to get to know him better, she had to do it this way. So she knew the whole time she was going to ruin whatever they had.
Um, yeah, or maybe she just kind of wanted to hang with him, but
I mean,
it was really just an
maybe,
innocent thing, and she didn't really want to kind of get with him because that's kind of where it kind of went, and then it got really weird. Well, episode 3, it was like, oh yeah, I'll show you how to like make out with a girl, and it's like,
yeah,
yeah,
that's
maybe
that's the bit where it changed for me.
that's the bit where it should be like, let's not even do that. That's a bad thing.
It's just it feel like, and then the whole thing of like her, it's just this sad desperation of each of them, like her convincing her, like she's just not well, and she's like, oh well, I must be pregnant. That's what it is. And the reason that her brain goes there is this like this sad realization is that well, that's a way I can keep him. That's a way I can make him pay attention to me again. It's like
Hmm.
this is just sad. It's so sad. Like you look at what you've done to this poor girl.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's it's all it's all shit.
Yeah,
There's nothing.
like
Just look at his face there in the bottom corner.
Yep.
Just look at it.
And
I'm restraining myself from breaking my monitor.
yep. He's on two of my monitors sometimes. I want to punch him. Like,
Oh, that's expensive.
yeah, it's a big mistake. I think
Yeah.
he's just he is fundamentally so self-centered and so the level of cowardice. Like this could have all like none of this needed to happen if he just had the fucking balls to say, I'm sorry. Like I don't want to be with you anymore. And yes, it would have broken her heart. And she would have been deeply saddened about that. And
Mm.
yes, she would have lost a friend in Sakai and vice versa. But it would never have gone anywhere near the way that it did.
No.
Didn't have to.
Yeah, and yet it also wouldn't make the anime. It's like a lot of shows where they could end it in the first 5 minutes if they did something different.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, the plot goes away. But I think that's the thing that kind of sucks about it more than not is like um it stuff like this is hard to watch because it is very as we've said sort of very real and a little bit weirdly triggering in a way. Um I think um I don't think it's always handled particularly well. And I don't know whether that's just because the characters are shitty people or because it sort of pales a little bit in comparison to its the subject matter is a tough subject matter, and I don't think it always deals with it with the way it should, or the way that that respectfully deals with that. I
Mm-hmm.
also do think though that individually the scores for this show are piss poor from me.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, I think if you take the series as a whole, I'd probably rate it like a little bit higher.
Yeah, the whole
It's
so
definitely it's greater than the sum of its parts.
yeah. When I first watched it, it was like I was thinking, it's no fucking point watching any of it except the last episode because that's where it punches. But then you don't fully understand why that happens,
Yep.
why people decide to kill each other,
Yep. Oh,
and
the total gaslighting, the anguish, the pain,
yeah,
the
it's
lying. The,
it's
it's awful.
yeah, it's done at a good pacing. I feel there's like every 3 episodes. Just so happens we did it in every 3 episodes, and I feel like
Ah,
every 3 episodes, it
the tone changed.
tone changed. The third episode was like the conclusion of one thing. So I think the first 3 episodes like, oh yeah, he's happy. He's got a girlfriend. He's not a complete prick as such, but he has no idea what he's
Yep.
doing. And
Yep.
then it's like, oh well, I'll teach you. And then it's like, oh wait, I like her, and we're going to see each other now. And like,
Yep.
then Koto finds out then it's episode 6 and goes, oh wait, he's what? No, that can't be right. And then you kind of like
Yeah.
have like 7 to 9, and it's like all happy, and Satsuna's trying to set him straight on the right path in the sense of only be for Sky, no one else. Essentially, that's what she was
And
trying to
then
do. But
yeah, and then 10 to 12 it just breaks down.
and then and 9 was like, yeah, he doesn't fucking care. And then 10 to 12 is like, oh, he's been
This is
stabbed to
all.
death. It's like
Yeah.
a reverse Gurren Lagann where it gets more ridiculous.
Yeah, you're right. I actually in my head was thinking it's a little bit like Gurren Lagann because it's that escalation.
Mhm.
Like if I look where it starts and where it finishes, they're a million miles away from each other
Yeah,
in a short space of time.
very short.
Um,
But it couldn't be any longer than 12. In fact, it could be shorter than
no,
12, I think.
yeah. What do you rate this episode, Colin?
Last episode, and mainly just because of the fucked up value at the end of it, I think I give it a 5 because it's just like the what, what fucking happened?
Yep.
Why? And also the guy died. I was like, yes,
Yep. I am gonna give it a 7.
yeah.
Uh, a good portion of that is because he died. I think, if I'm honest, though, that there is there is a real sadness to that last episode, and what like just that real uh the scene where he's stabbed is sad because she's doing that and she's just unleashing this anger, and at the same time I don't think realizes, weirdly naively, that she's just letting it out, and she's like, oh, he's dead.
Yeah,
I did that. I didn't mean to do that. I was just angry, and now he's
all
dead.
all the blood on his floor.
Yep.
He's just lying
And
there in a big pool.
yeah, and I think that like that is a really sad moment, because that's sort of there's a real kind of collapsing of her character, and I don't mean like, it makes her character bad. It sort of shows the how far she's fallen, and without her friend, without her friend there to be there for her as well. There's a part of that where
Oh, she just
Setsuna felt, she felt like the voice of reason to a degree. She's just like, like, I'm going to be here and everything's going to be okay. And sure enough, like as soon as she leaves, it just it just goes. It just breaks, and
yeah.
we see, she kills Makoto. Uh, Sakai kills him.
Hmm.
Uh, just so naively believes that when she gets a text from him that, oh, it's okay.
I think
Like, for real, she thinks he's okay. Like, I
uh,
think there's something deep in her there where she's like,
I think
I
this is
don't
kind
think
of like,
I don't think that was as bad.
I think this is kind of like a Macbeth kind of thing,
Oh, you think?
where she's like, oh, oh, that was all a dream type thing. It's all he's still alive. She's
I do
totally
think,
lost it at that point.
yeah, I think that like there's a detachment from reality where it's like, that must have not gone how I thought it did. So I'll go and talk to him now. Like, either it's the idea of like that probably never happened, or if it did, it's probably fine.
Yeah,
We can go and talk about it now, and everything will be okay. And then that realization where she's not pregnant is just even sadder. You're
I
just
mean,
like, I
just because you can open someone's belly doesn't mean
no, I know, but I think like I don't think that there's to me there's no way that they want us to read any other way into that, like than that's it. I
yeah,
don't think there's, I thought for a minute there, it's like, well, how do you know? It's like, well, but why would they have it otherwise? It's like, I think it's supposed to be this very grim realization, is that she just was so desperate to
yeah.
have him that and not even like, I don't think it was that she felt she was lying about it. That's not what this was. She believed it. It was like
Mhm.
that it was the reality she'd built in her head, as the kind of last episodes start to go, is like, well, this is probably what this is. It's the same when she stabs him. She's like, oh, that's probably what happened.
Yeah,
It's just this sort of false narrative that she continually builds up to make excuses and to make sure that she can have that, what she wants.
well,
Um,
yeah. I think, like say, it was losing Setsuna, she's moved to France type thing without telling her. Like, what the anyway,
I mean, imagine reading that in the news
yeah, oh,
in France.
Setsuna's, yeah, um, and then yeah, so she's lost her friend, and the only other close friend she had was Makoto in a sense. She had other
Yep.
friends who weren't that close. It seems like instead of like Haruki going to sleep with Makoto, she could have gone to
Yep.
Sky and maybe teared her up. But then also
It's,
Makoto's just been sleeping around douche. That yes, she finds, well, maybe I can anchor with the pregnancy thing, and I don't know if it's to have him as a lover or just to have him as a person there.
I think that's exactly it. Is that like there's nothing in me that thinks that she's being malicious about this. Everything in me just thinks is like this is just a person who is so desperate to shape a narrative to help her have someone or that person that she connects with because she does like they were friends.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't just like having sex and they weren't just a couple. Like they kind of got each other and he says that as well at one point. It's like, I can be myself with her. I think
Mm-hmm.
she could be that way with him too.
Yeah,
And I think that makes that more even sadder. It's just like, it got to the point where it didn't matter. It's just that this is the narrative I need to have is that I need him to be there with me one way or another. And, and then the stabbing thing is almost like a kind of combination of like, well, if you're not going to be here for me, then you can't be here for anyone. Like
yeah,
I can't have that. But also is just that sort of it's that pent up frustration of everything he's put her through for those, like
mm-hmm.
if the being with Setsuna, being with Otome, being with Hikari, like everyone, and continually going back to Kotonoha as well, like through time. It
Mm-hmm.
just she was the other woman who became the woman that was then punished by the other women. And it's
Mm-hmm.
just it's sad. It's
Yeah,
really sad.
yeah, yeah. It's pretty bad. Ah, anyway, that's the end of School Days, and
It is.
I might watch it again in another 10 years because that's so far as
It's the trend.
the trend I've been doing. Watched it twice now.
A once in a decade watch.
Once and
Um,
never watch it again. That's rough. Um,
it's I think that the more we talk about it, like the more I can I can see more what they were going for, and
hmm,
I think that it's difficult when you focus so much on the negatives of your lead character, but
yeah,
also that kind of sets up the punishment that he's giving the others and sort of the impact that's having on them. It's hard to say. Like I feel bad for rating it so low in some places, but it just doesn't feel good to watch. Like I didn't
it's not meant to.
enjoy watching it.
It's
Um,
a shock value thing.
but at the same time, is like I think it's funny because a lot of it is people saying it's like that is crazy. It goes from here to here, but the more you sit and talk about it, you're like, well, of course it did. Like, do you see what he did? Like,
Yeah.
look at every moment in this. Is like there's not a non-self-serving moment, or there's one, and then it's immediately flipped back to, well, I can take advantage of this again. It's just so shitty.
Hmm.
Uh, and yeah, like to me, uh, the shock was probably more, how did you not get stabbed before?
Yeah, I suppose that is. I mean, I'm surprised that Alternate didn't like go around killing all her bullies in school as well.
I, I will be honest, I did expect there to be more bloodshed than there was. Like I thought we were gonna go full, you know what, fuck this.
Mm.
But then the realization, of course, is that I actually don't think she was. I don't think she had snapped. I think she was just done. And then the Makoto being dead was what really tipped it. Like that
Yeah,
was it. And
yeah.
it was never actually about punishing anyone else.
Hmm.
Um, but then it became very much about punishing
Sakai.
Sakai.
Yeah.
And that was it. You know, then it became very exclusively about her. Um, I like if you were to ask me to rate this show out of 10 as a show,
Hmm.
um, I'd probably land somewhere like maybe 6 or 7, maybe even like 7.5. Like there's something in this, uh,
Hmm.
but you're right. It is so difficult to watch because I don't like watching people be punished for what is perceivably no reason. It just feels wrong. Uh, a lot of reasons, like I stopped watching TV shows, particularly like comedy dramas or dramas and things like that. It's just when they start being punishing for no reason.
Yeah.
It's like there's no rhyme or reason to this other than you want to write a story. And I do feel there's a little more to this than that because it's so much of a slice of something.
Oh well, it
But
was like I say, it was a game essentially, and it's
there's
probably
two OVAs as well that we could watch.
yeah. There's two OVAs that you can watch.
I'm
Do
not
you,
saying we should do it. I'm just saying they're there.
uh, mm, they're not on
Should we
Crunchyroll,
watch them? They're not on Crunchyroll. You're right.
and probably doubtful it'll be on animation either.
I don't know if I want to watch those.
I
But
don't know what
yeah,
the
I think like I've been harsh on what this is. Um, and you're right. There's a lot of just shock value to it, but I
Mhm.
actually do think there's a lot more underneath there that is glossed over because of the initial shock. I
Yeah,
think that's just what gets talked about. But really, the heart of this whole thing, regardless of like how it ends, is just like that one destructive influence in a group.
yeah, that's Makoto.
Like, he's just a one man wrecking machine. He ruins and hurts so many lives in what is perceivably a very short span of time, um,
Uh,
all
yeah,
for selfish gain.
second semester of the school term.
Yeah, like
Well, school year.
it's madness.
Yeah,
Um,
it's tough. Uh,
and I think as well, like actually, I suppose that I say there's one sort of redemption moment for Makoto, and that is the moment where he's like realizes the level of hurt he's put on. But
mhm.
I think the other thing is I realize is that I I never did understand why he was so good with Kotono's little sister.
I don't think you get to see the reason. He was obviously quite.
And
He
but
has his
it
own
seems
sister. Well,
antithetical. Yeah, but it just it seems weird. Like he really went above and beyond, and I kind of liked that.
yeah. I mean,
And then never to see any other exhibition of behavior like that again.
I think he constantly always felt sorry for what's her name, Kono. God, fucking
Kotonoa.
go to know, yeah. Because that's why he kind of like always saw her and was like, oh, she'd kind of like say something, and then Setsuna kind of got in the way of ever progressing that narrative, essentially by
Mm.
blocking him and saying, no, you can't speak to him, can't actually do any of this shit, and kind of blocked him even approaching Kotonoa. And,
Yeah, there's
and he's always like tried to maybe go back there and go, look, maybe that's what he's trying to say, but he just fucking says it in the worst possible way.
yeah, like there was a moment where he's like, "What I should have said was I should have apologized. That was what I wanted to say. Like it wasn't anything more than that." But like, there's a moment where like he's alluding to her having picked up more from something than he meant to, and that's a sort of a more human moment. But again, he just doesn't say what needs to be said. He just
No.
alludes to, "Oh well, it's not what I meant." You're like, yeah, I.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm gonna
That's
go on this for a while.
yeah. That's School
Um,
Days done.
Thank you for making me watch it. I know
Really?
I like, yeah, like I having had some time to sit and think about it more, and like I say, I think the important thing is putting aside, like, the shock value is the shock value, and it's there for a reason, because it has implication to pushing one character over the edge. um I think once you get past that and you look more just to the human angle of it, I think that's where the sort of the interest really lies. Like, I think that's where it becomes more interesting. um
All right.
so yeah, like,
Yeah.
I think there is more to it than just the shock value, if I'm honest.
Yeah. Watching it again, I saw different things in it this time, rather than just like, oh look, this dude's uh, this dude's a complete prick, and he slept with all these
Yeah,
girls, and he deserves to get stabbed by all the ones that was the catalyst for it all.
I did, like I said, I did cheer a little bit when he died, because it's just like, you fucking had this coming.
Yeah, yeah, yay!
uh, anyway, uh this has been Who's That Anime. We have finished School Days. We will be back next week with the palate cleanser episode.
Mhm.
um Who's That Anime is an anime podcast, can be found at anchor.fm/ Who's That Anime, and can be found on all of your favorite podcatching software: Spotify, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Pocket Cast, Overcast, and even just using the RSS feed. If you'd like to leave us a review, that'd be cool. 5 stars is always well accepted. Anything less was also fine, but any criticism would be, constructive criticism, would be great to pair up with that. We don't get paid for any of this. There's no advertising or anything like that. So if you like what we do and want to share that with people, tell a friend. That'd be awesome. We have a Facebook page. That's facebook.com/ Who's That Anime. We post about new episodes and memes and kind of the video supplemental stuff that we also post, which is sort of the video recordings of these episodes. We put those at youtube.com under the Who's That Anime channel. What one are we going to be putting up, do you think? Is there one? I don't know if there's a release at this point for this one.
Yeah. So, uh, as soon as this podcast is released, we should have the disappearance of Hurry Suzumiya discussion,
Sweet.
both the episodes, because we did split that into two because
2 part.
it's
That's true.
stupid long.
Yep. And as I said the previous time when you mentioned that, I still think to this day that is my favorite episode that we've recorded. Um, it was good fun. Um, so other than that, Colin likes to play games online sometimes. That's twitch.tv/couchfuel.
Mm-hmm.
Not playing anything at the moment, but
No,
get there eventually.
I'll
But
be
if you do
back
want an
on.
archive of stuff, yeah, you'll be back. There's an archive of things at youtube.com. If you look for the channel Couch Fuel, there's hundreds of hours of recordings of games there. Similarly, I like to play horror games sometimes at twitch.tv/Hail Payman. And there's an archive of my stuff at youtube.com. It can be found at Hail Payman if you search for that channel. I think that's us.
Yeah. This has been Who's That Anime? It's been your host Colin and Steve, and we're going to go and
This has been School Days.
think of happy thoughts, happy
Yes.
thoughts, happy thoughts with our palate cleanser, which is very happy to the extreme. Is but
I'm
we'll
also going
get
to go and enjoy some classic Mystery Science Theatre, I think, at some point.
yeah. No, that'll make a hell of a while. Anyway, see you next time, guys.
Bye, folks.
Bye.
やっと二人っきりですね、誠くん。